Alright, what's going on, guys, and welcome to this week's episode for In the Hot Seat. Of course, this was pre-taped right before the Royal Rumble, and some of the things might have changed with the topics, but hopefully you guys will enjoy this week's episode for In the Hot Seat. And with that being said, you know what's coming up next, and that's right, roll that intro.
You are watching the most interactive professional wrestling discussion show on the internet. WWE Impact Wrestling,
ROH Wrestling,
pro wrestling at its finest on In the Hot Seat with your host, Fortminorproject.
Alright, what's going on, guys, and welcome to this week's episode for In the Hot Seat. Of course, as always, I got a great show lined up for you guys, and as well, I'm being joined by my guest at this time. And would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, what's up, everybody? It's the Night Monster.
Alright, it's a pleasure to have you here on the show, and of course, as always, I got a couple of topics to get through. And with this week, I'm going to kick things off here. And what are your thoughts overall on John Laurinaitis as him being the general manager, and as well with him as a whole being being in the role on Raw as of late? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I've enjoyed John Laurinaitis being a general manager for some reason, even though he's got a very boring personality. It's just been like some of the stuff that he's been doing, which has entertained me for a little bit. Anything else, though, I can't see going on any longer. Plus, I think that they need to move on, maybe get some new face as a general manager, maybe like a Mick Foley again, maybe even have JR as a general manager, something like that.
Yeah, and to me, honestly, in the beginning, I didn't really care too much for John Laurinaitis, but as over time, and when he was still as general manager, so it took me a while to get used to that, and I think he's doing a really good job as a heel and actually really making me hate him and making everyone else hate him, so he doesn't even have to say anything.
I can't see it going any longer because, like, the reason why, of course, they got rid of Triple H, if you remember, is because overusing his power, which is something that John Laurinaitis is doing at the moment, so...
Yeah, to me, I think it would be actually pretty cool to have Mick Foley to come on, and I've been saying that for a while to see how Mick Foley would do. Maybe he would actually change things and do a little bit better and actually be maybe at least somewhat of a permanent general manager, so we'll have to see what's going to happen with that. And with your choice for Jim Ross, I never actually really thought about that, and we'll be talking about him in just a little while in this episode for In the Hot Seat, so I think that would be really interesting and something new for Jim Ross since he's not really doing anything, but we'll get to that later on in this video, so I think that's cool with that. Is there anything else you want to add to that before we go on to the next topic?
Yeah, I think that Mick Foley needs to be the general manager. I think that would just be funny from now on, like, just have Mick Foley. I remember when he was started as general manager back in the Attitude Era, and that was some good crap back then, so...
Yeah. Alright, moving along into the next topic, and that is going into Ring of Honor. And what are your thoughts on ROH as of late? Do you think it would be successful now that it's on Sinclair Broadcasting? And do you think in the future it will eventually go to a 2-hour time slot?
Well, I'm not going to lie and say that I'm the biggest Ring of Honor fan. To be honest, I've only watched like one Ring of Honor show ever. But when I did watch it, and I enjoyed the crap out of it, I definitely think it will be successful going 2 hours. Plus, I think it's going to be a lot like ECW, like maybe Sinclair might do a better job with it, but it will no doubt be enjoyable. Plus, you need a 2-hour show for Ring of Honor because most of their matches are like half an hour, even if it's two jobbers going on. But I really enjoy the little bit of Ring of Honor that I watched. Also, Ring of Honor got some great talents like El Generico, Jay Lethal, Davey Richards, so definitely they need the 2 hours.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you on that one. I've been enjoying Ring of Honor as of late since it came on TV, and they have some really good stuff going on there, and I've been enjoying some matches. Some haven't really been that great, but some, on the other hand, have been good, so I have been enjoying it. And hopefully in the future, definitely we'll get to see them go to 2 hours and see them doing bigger and better things going on there. So I am liking what they're doing, and it's something different. So is there anything else you want to add to that before we move on to the next topic there as well?
Yeah, I would love for them to get a television pay-per-view deal, but then like the price of the pay-per-view would go up, but I would definitely think that it needs to be on like television because sometimes your stream could get bad or something like that could happen, so I think that they need a pay-per-view television deal.
Tremendous. Alright, moving along into the next topic here, and that is going into WrestleMania 28, of course, with the epic rivalry that's been over throughout the year, and that is between The Rock and John Cena. And with that being said, do you think this feud will continue until after WrestleMania, or do you think at WrestleMania this whole thing will end and that'll be the end of that feud?
Well, I can see this going two ways. I can see either The Rock fucking off after WrestleMania because more than likely he will lose just to get Cena over. Or I can see him sort of doing what Hulk Hogan did in 2002, maybe just sort of like wallowing around the mid card, maybe trying to get some guys over. Then again, the ego of The Rock might not allow himself to do that, but I just can't see this feud continuing. I think that this is meant to be a one-time match. So I can't really see it happening, but if you look at it, I wouldn't mind seeing a match between them at Extreme Rules, maybe for a WWE Championship.
Yeah, and I think this is going really well so far, and especially with the year build-up going into this, and I have been enjoying it. So, once we get closer to WrestleMania 28, I think things are really going to kick things off there. And to me, with the matchup in itself, it'll be where both of these guys are going to be put over, and I'm hoping at least The Rock will maybe win. If not, maybe at the next match, which I think will probably be the next best thing. So probably they will have one more match. I have been hearing rumors that they might have a best of 5 series. I don't really think so at this point, but maybe one more match like you mentioned, probably at Extreme Rules or some sort of pay-per-view like that, just to end things with the feud and everything. So I am looking forward for it, and I cannot wait for The Rock versus John Cena. It's going to be absolutely tremendous. So that's basically it. My final thoughts. Is there anything else you want to add to that as well?
If they have a best of 5 series match, I can see that ruining the overall product of this year's WrestleMania. Like, to me, this would be better than WrestleMania 17. But then if they just go and turn like Rock and John Cena into the best of 5 series, it won't be the same. Like, this should just be a one-time thing, if not only 2 times.
Alright. Now we move on into the final topic that I have here, and that is going back into Jim Ross. And do you think he should return to the commentary booth permanently or for a part-time thing? What are your overall thoughts on Jim Ross?
Well, Ross does return to the commentary. I can't see him going on any one of the 2 shows because this was just a thing that you gotta think about. 2 play-by-play commentators and a past wrestler doesn't work. You need 2 past wrestlers and a play-by-play commentator, or just a play-by-play commentator and a past wrestler. Because if you got 2 play-by-play commentators, all they really know is like play-by-play, which is like the more entertaining sort of commentary, but they just clash with each other, they talk over each other. You could see that this year with Michael Cole and when Jim Ross were on commentary. But anyway, I cannot see Jim Ross returning. Maybe for WrestleMania, that's the only way I can see him coming. Maybe he does what he did back in 2006 and just does pay-per-views. That would be something that I wouldn't mind doing. He only did that for the start of 2006, but something like that I would like to see him doing.
Yeah, of course, honestly, I love JR, and hopefully he does return. Maybe, I think, what I've been mentioning before on Twitter and stuff like that, to have maybe Jim Ross really just be on pay-per-views for now on, then eventually probably come back on the Raw commentary table and do some commentary on there in the announcer's booth. So I really hope they bring JR back, and I am behind that definitely 100%. So especially going into WrestleMania, I think it would be really good to hear Jim Ross, especially on commentary on the Rock and John Cena's match. I think that would be really sick to hear Jim Ross really to commentate on that match, and as well as the other matches that are going to be happening. And maybe we'll get to see him at the Royal Rumble. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see, or overall in the road to WrestleMania. So that's basically it with my final thoughts on that. Is there anything else you would like to add there?
Yeah, that's all pretty much I have to say about